Hey guys, Patrick Smith from AeroMediaPros.com, and today's video is for all of our customers that purchased the Ready to Fly S1000 production package. It'll also be a good tool and guide for those that purchased the Ready to Fly S900 production package. In today's video, Jay and I are going to walk you through and show you exactly what to do from receiving the package on your doorstep and getting it out to the field and accomplishing its first successful flight. So let's go ahead, we'll show you what you need to do in preparation and get it ready to fly. All right, when the S1000 production package arrives at your house, it's usually going to come in two larger cases or boxes. The first box is going to house the Pelican case, which will have the main components like the S1000, the radio controllers, and some batteries. The other box is going to house and keep most of the accessories and support items like your battery charger, power supply, and accessories that'll support all those things. What we want to do first is go ahead and take out the batteries and get these ready to go onto the charging station. You can check out this video right here, and that'll show you how to hook up your charger and your power supply, and it'll also describe about C ratings, charge rates, and how to actually charge these packs. So go ahead and check out that video, and let's get the batteries onto the charging station, and we'll continue on with the rest of the setup. All right guys, the next thing we want to do is take the radios out of the case, and let's mount the monitor to the camera operator's radio using this aluminum mount. We have a video for you right here that'll walk you through that process and make it easy to go. So let's go ahead and get that done. Then you want to install the antennas. Make a note that this is a directional long-range antenna. You want the four squares pointing towards your aircraft at all times. That's going to give you the best reception when you're at longer ranges. This antenna is going to work great for 360 coverage and when you're up close. Lastly, some channels and bands may work a little better in your area compared to the way it worked in ours. So you can watch another video right here, and that'll show you how to change the frequencies or change the bands and channels and search and find out which one works best for you. Last thing we want to do, once we have this all mounted and ready to go, let's plug the futabas into the wall and get them charging, and go ahead and plug your monitor in and we'll start charging that. Okay guys, at this point, we should have our main flight packs on the charger, we should have our futabas plugged in and charging, and lastly, we should have the monitor being charged. So with all that going on, let's move over to the next thing, take our S1000 out of the case, and let's find a nice table or nice work area that we can work on, and we'll begin moving into the next step. What I like to do is get the front arms up and out of the way. And this is going to allow us easy access to the camera gimbal so we can install the camera. We already have a GH4 system installed right now. We can check out these links right here on our website for the different manuals, whether it's a 5D, GH4, or NEX. Check those out and that'll show you how to install your given camera. And we also have a tutorial video on how to install a 5D camera into the 5D ZIMUs. So that one may help you out also. So let's go ahead, follow those instructions, get your camera installed, make sure your camera settings are correct, and then we'll move into the next step. So by now you should have your camera mounted into the ZIMUs, and we can move on to the next spot, which is going to be calibrating the compass for the first time. Now make a note guys that we do calibrate the compass and do all of our test flights here in California, so you make sure that you calibrate it to your area once you receive the copter. We'll walk you through those steps right now. What I like to do is raise these 6 arms and leave the back 2 arms in the down position. This is going to make it much easier to hold the copter and do the calibration. Once you have that done, it's a good opportunity to go ahead, raise the GPS, make sure it clicks in place, and verify that the arrow on the GPS puck is facing dead forward right down the center 2 arms. Now let's go ahead and move into powering up the copter and the radios. Always start with the radios first. You'll notice that the production packages come with these custom wraps, and all the switches are labeled for you. This is to help avoid confusion and let you know exactly what position each switch should be in. So I like to put all switches forward and away. IOC is in the off position, failsafe is in the off position, and definitely make sure your retracts are in the down position. The manual and attitude GPS switch doesn't matter so much, and I'll explain that in just a second. Once you have the switches verified, throttle stick is in the down position, we can go ahead and turn that on. Now take the opportunity and we can move all these switches forward and away on the camera controller, throttles down, and power this up too. Now we have the radios ready to go. We can move back over to the copter and we can power it up for the first time. Start with your negative wire, plug that in, and notice that the positive wire has an anti-spark plug on it. This is to help resist sparking and arcing. Go ahead and plug this in. The copter will power up, and your ZIMUSE, you'll notice it'll start doing its calibration and spinning around. Once it's finished calibrating, it'll face dead forward and stabilize itself. Like right now, you know that the system's good and it's ready to go. So we'll go ahead, and this is how we do the compass calibration. You take your flight radio, and we're going to pay attention to this light right here. Take your manual attitude GPS or your gear switch and go ahead and flip it up and down 6 to 10 times. The light will go to a solid blue. Hold the copter facing straight out in front of you, and you're going to do a 360. Notice as he comes around to the front, that color light is going to change from blue and go to green. Once it does that, you're going to tilt the copter facing nose down, and you're going to rotate one more time all the way around, and the light will then go off. Once the light goes off, it'll start flashing and let you know which flight mode you're in. Now what I'm going to do, guys, is go over the LED sequences and explain what the colors mean. The rapid yellow lets you know that the copter is in attitude mode. When we ship the copters, manual is actually disabled, and that is set to attitude. So it's actually attitude, attitude, and then GPS. So with it in manual mode, it'll flash yellow, letting you know it's in attitude mode. We pull it one click forward, also attitude mode, represented with the flashing yellow. But now when we pull it all the way forward and we put it in GPS, you'll notice that the LED changes colors and goes to purple. That lets you know that you're in a GPS flight mode right now. So understanding that, we can go ahead and prep the copter and get it ready for the first flight. Let's go ahead and finish it up and get it ready for takeoff. So I do that by getting all the arms up, take the propeller locks or the little foam protectors for the propellers, extend the propellers, make sure they're nice and straight. We'll do this on all 8. Turn the GH4 on. We can now turn the monitor on, power it up, check for live feed. If for some reason you didn't have a live feed, you could simply do the search button and it would do an auto search and it would find the correct channel. I really like that feature because it speeds up the process in case you were on the wrong channel or the buttons got knocked around. So now the camera's operating, we got live feed. Let's go ahead, walk the copter out to the flight line, or for you, take it out to a nice open area and we'll go ahead and we'll follow it up. All right guys, so now we got it on a flight line, nice wide open area. One thing I like to do before any takeoff is do a quick pre-flight check. This is a good opportunity to do a glance over of your copter, especially like the red connectors. Make sure that these are solidly locked in place. That way the arms aren't going to fold down. Check your GPS. Make sure it's secure. Make sure that the arrow is facing forward. That's not going to fall. Check your CAN bus cables. Make sure that those are good. And then you can go to each individual motor wires and make sure that they're plugged in nice and secure. Lastly, I'll move over to the front of the copter and we'll go towards the A2. And this is where I can check the final servo wires and your receiver wire. Last thing you want is for your receiver and communication from the radio to the copter coming unplugged. So that wire we can check right here. Everything looks like it's insecure. So we're good to go. All right guys, now we got everything ready. We've checked and double checked the copter secure. Everything is ready for its first flight. Make sure that you stand back and also make sure that any bystanders or friends are well far behind you. This is the initial flight, so you don't want to take chances on hurting anyone. So once that's all clear, you have your flight area clear, we're going to operate and start the motors by pushing both sticks down and in. That's going to be the command sequence to start the motors. I'm going to give it a little bit of throttle, and as the throttle comes up, I'm going to gently push the elevator to make sure that the copter tilts forward, and I'm going to gently push the aileron and make sure that I get some tilting movement. This is your opportunity to check the flight control and make sure that it's functioning properly and the copter's responding properly. So that little smooth movement to do that double check before lifting it off is going to save you many times. So let's go ahead, start the motors. If you don't raise the throttle within a few seconds, it'll automatically shut off. That's a safety feature. So we'll raise the throttle up a little bit. Get the throttle going. Now you'll see I'm doing that forward movement. I'm checking the elevator. Now I'm going to go right. I'm checking the aileron. And then you can also check your rudder. I'm going left. So everything checks out. I'm going to lift off nice and steady. Sometimes if you go slow, the copter will want to pitch over and tilt. So give it enough throttle to get it up and into the air. First thing I do, elevator forward and get it away from you. So once you got it out there in front of you, we can let it sit there in GPS mode, regain your bearings, and you can focus on what's next. For your first flight, just start with simple movements. Start with the right stick, we'll aileron to the left a little bit, and let go. Go to the right a little bit, and let go. Now let's try going forward. Go forward a little bit, let go, come backwards a little bit, and let go. Now, a nice movement that you can do is to do square patterns. So we'll slide to the left, and we're going to do 4 points on a square basically. So we'll stop at that point. Now we'll go forward, stop it at that point. Let's slide it to the right. Stop it at this point. Pull it back. Stop it at that point. And then I'll go ahead and slide it in front of me. And about now, if this is your first flight, you're probably going to want to land, wipe the sweat off the palm of your hands and take a breath. So come down nice and smooth. Don't let it slam to the ground. Throttle up a little bit, slow it down. And then touch down gently. Make sure the rotors are completely turned off, your throttle stick is down, and now you can take a breath and move on to the next part. All right, guys, so the first test flight went great. We know the copter is functioning properly and everything's working well. I'll make a note that I did not put the landing gear up on that last take because it was our first test flight. I always like to do the first flight, leave your landing gear down. That way if something were to go wrong, it's going to protect your camera and your gimbal system. So now that everything's working great, I'm going to get it up in the air, we'll get the retracts up, and we'll fly it around and start having some fun with it. So same thing, do your 6 down into the middle, raise your throttle up. I'm going to pull this all the way towards me in GPS mode. It's flashing purple, lets me know I'm in the correct mode. I'm going to lift off. Now you have to get high enough to make the retracts come up. Retracts are up. Now we'll bring it in for a nice smooth landing. Drop your landing gear. And there you have it, guys. The Ready to Fly S1000 production package. I really hope this video helps you guys to get from your house to the flight first time. Thanks for watching. If you like it, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.